So welcome to this lecture on soil science and ecology. We are going to discuss about soil formation, which is the development of soils and their properties, and we want to look at the factors of soil formation. Now, we'll begin with the discussion of parent material. What is the parent material that's responsible for soil formation? Parent material refers to the rock and mineral materials from which the soils develop, or it can also refer to the initial state of the soil. Okay, the initial state of the soil is said to be the parent material. For example, if a land is filled with sand, that sand that is deposited is the parent material, or any material, it could be leaf or any other thing that is transported by wind or any other means, that can be the initial state of the soil or the parent material. So parent materials can consist of consolidated rocks and can also include unconsolidated deposits such as river alluvium, lake and marine sediments, glacial tilts, volcanic ash, organic matter sediments that are transported into an area by way of erosive forces of wind, water, or ice. So parent material doesn't necessarily mean consolidated rocks alone. It also means other things, other materials that are deposited in an area. River alluvium basically means substances that are transported by the river as it flows. Then we have lake or marine sediments, glacial tilts. Glacial tilts are basically unsorted glaciers or ice sheet sediment, then volcanic ash and others, even living organisms that have died and that are undergoing decomposition. It could also be the leaves of plants. Each of these constitute the parent materials that form soils. Parent materials influence soil texture, soil chemistry, soil color, the stratification of soil, and nutrient cycling. The parent materials actually affect these properties. For instance, dark-colored ferromagnesium rocks can produce soils with high content of iron compounds and clay, and are usually red in color. They're usually reddish in color. Ferromagnesium rocks, rocks that have iron and magnesium, can produce soils that are reddish in color. Also, light-colored siliceous rocks they also known to produce soils with low iron compounds that contain clay materials. Now I want to look at the classification of parent materials. Parent materials are classified according to how they came to be deposited. They are classified according to how they came to be deposited, and they are classified as 1. Residual parent materials, 2. Transported parent materials, and 3. Cumulus parent materials. So the three types of parent materials are residual, transported, and cumulus parent materials. Now I want to look at the residual parent materials. What are residual parent materials? Now, as the name implies, the residual parent materials are mineral particles or substances that are withered in place from primary bedrock. So residual parent materials are mineral materials that have withered in place from primary bedrock. Soils that develop from their underlying parent rocks and have the same general chemistry as these rocks are said to be residual parent. The soils that develop from these parent materials usually have properties of the parent materials that were already in place. Now, the second type of parent materials are the transported parent materials. Transported parent materials are those that have been deposited by water, wind, ice, or gravity. Okay, they are transported by water during erosion. Erosion washes off some particles and soils from one place to another. Those ones that are transported by water, or even wind, as it blows away sand and other things and deposits them elsewhere. Even gravity, those ones are said to be transported parent materials. Most soils are derived from transported materials that have been moved many miles by wind, water, ice, or gravity. The third type of parent materials we want to look at are the cumulus parent materials. Cumulus parent materials basically are organic matter that have grown and accumulated in place. Cumulus parent materials are basically organic matter that have grown and accumulated in place. Cumulus parent materials is not moved but originates from the deposits of organic material. Okay, particularly especially when you have a tree and the tree sheds its leaves. The leaf litter on the soil that accumulate in the soil are said to be cumulus parent materials. Okay, so, and this can include peat or monkey soils. Now they want to look at the weathering of parent materials, how parent materials are being broken down. Now, what is weathering? Weathering can be defined as the disintegration and decomposition of rocks and minerals by natural processes such as action of frost or percolating groundwater. Weathering basically means the decomposition of rocks, the breakdown of rocks and minerals. Okay, the breakdown of rocks and minerals that form soil. The weathering of parent material takes the form of physical disintegration and chemical decomposition and transformation. Okay, the weathering of parent materials takes the form of physical disintegration and chemical decomposition and transformation. So the parent materials are disintegrated or are broken down through two processes or means. We have the first one, which is physical disintegration. It involves physical activities that result in the breakdown of parent material. Then the second is chemical. It is called chemical decomposition and transformation. Now I want to look at physical disintegration. Physical disintegration is the first stage in the transformation of parent material into soil. The freezing of absorbed water causes the physical splitting of material along a path toward the center of the rock, while temperature gradients within the rock can cause exfoliation of shells. Now, when water is being absorbed by rocks or parent materials and eventually freeze, the water particles expand, the water molecules expand when icing occurs, and that expansion eventually results in pressure on the rocks. Then the reduction and increase in temperature also causes expansion and contraction of the parent material, which eventually results in the breakdown of the parent material eventually. So cycles of wetting and drying cause soil particles to be ground down to finer particles, as does the physical rubbing of material caused by wind, rain, hail, water, and gravity. So when wind blows and carries some particles and heat against the rocks or other parent materials, over time it results in the breakdown of these materials. And even water, as the water moves across some parent materials, it tend to cause the breakdown of that parent material, and even gravity can do that. Then we also want to look at the activity of organisms. Now, living organisms also reduce parent material in size through activities such as burrowing, plant root penetration, and microbial activities, causing physical disintegration and physical disintegration of the parent materials. So, as the organisms burrow into the soil, and during that activity process, they tend to cause the soil to break down or to wither. They cause the soil to break down or to wither. Then plant root penetration. When plant roots penetrate, as they penetrate, they cause some kind of separation or breakdown of parent materials. The microbial activities also do that. As they decompose, we've said parent material doesn't basically mean consolidated rocks. It can also mean organic matter. So as they break down the living organisms, it could be dead animal or plant, that breaks down the parent material into simpler units. Alright, so basically that's what occurs in the physical disintegration of parent materials. The second process that results in the breakdown of parent material is chemical decomposition and transformation.